Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. My voice is still a tiny bit off because I've had a cold the last week and a half. So I haven't filmed in like a week, so I'm feeling a bit new to this again. But you don't know that because I was quite ahead in my filming and I had loads of things scheduled. So I've been able to stick to my normal schedule of posting. But for me, there's been actually quite a break in filming. But anyway, so today we're going to be reviewing and trying on the e.l.f. Putty Blush and Bronzers. I have them here. I'm not going to try on all the shades of blush, but I will swatch them, what I have. These are really affordable and I even got them on Black Friday, so they were even cheaper than normal. But yeah, might as well jump into it because I'm looking really washed out because I've done the rest of my makeup just without blush and bronzer. Looking a bit sickly, but anyway. Let's just jump straight into it with some bronzer. Here is the bronzer here that I have. It is in Tan Lines. Let me swatch it for you. Now, when I swatch these, they do have an interesting consistency. Definitely when I swatch these, I sort of feel cream to powder. Like when I swish my finger in it, it feels very creamy. And then as I blend it out on my hand, it definitely leaves a powdery finish, which is interesting. So I am going to apply these with a sponge. I'm going to use the Cocoa Cosmetics sponge. I think this is shape 1. I can't remember. It's just the pointy one. Recently got these sponges. I love them so much. You'll see them in more future videos when I do full faces. They're so good. I'm just going to take the round end of my sponge and just sort of dip it into the pot and just put it in the normal places I bronze. Also as well, with this shade, when I first pulled it out of the packaging, I thought it looked really dark, like for me, and I'm very fair at the moment. But when I swatch it, like it goes really light. And every time I'm in different lighting as well, I think this looks different. Like this comes off a lot cooler when I'm looking at it in person than it does on camera. But then sometimes it looks warm, sometimes it looks dark, sometimes it looks light. I don't know. It's just a very weird shade. I think it works for me. So as I'm applying this, it is buildable. For the shade comparison, it's not like I'm getting a stark color and I'm painting my face. Like sometimes you can get when you use a darker concealer or something as a contour, it can be a lot. Whereas this is very sort of subtle and buildable, which makes it quite beginner friendly. And it's the sort of thing, it is your preference when it comes to products. Overall, I do like this undertone for myself. This is how we're building so far. Let's try and get it a bit more. I think it's warming my face up nicely, like if I compare the two, but it is subtle. Like, I don't know how much this is going to do for me in summer. It is a very good sort of, for me, wintry sort of bronze where you don't want to go super intense maybe. You're going a bit more for that subtle sort of tanned look. But it can build up, but to a certain extent, I think. I compare that side to that side. There you go. And that is in Tan Lines, if anyone is of a similar skin tone to me and wondering. Like I said about that sort of powdery finish, it doesn't look like a cream product that I've applied. Like it doesn't feel like a cream at all. It feels like I've set with powder now, whereas my face was just the foundation before. My face feels powdery now. Not a bad powdery, just it's not dewy anymore. So that is something to note as well. Definitely leaves you with a powdery finish. At the moment, I don't have any problems with blending. Like I think it looks quite seamless, which is good. I have tried these sort of putty formulas with a brush. I'm finding the sponge the sort of best method. I feel like using a brush picks up my base underneath or something, I'm not sure. Whereas this lays down the colour and blends it out quite nicely without messing with my base or anything. I don't know if that's to do with the powder consistency, if you're sort of buffing too much and it's turning into sort of cream powder mixture, especially if you're sort of applying on top, it feels then you're applying cream on top of powder. If you get what I mean, because that's a big no-no, putting cream over powder. So if you start trying to layer this product with a brush, it really does not look good. It sort of starts picking up and looking weird. But I do think that sort of warmed up my complexion and I look a lot better than I did earlier with just the sort of the pale foundation. But yeah, it isn't as intense as I thought it would be when I first pulled out the sort of colour. And for the price point, if I'm comparing it with that in mind, it's amazing for the price. If you're looking in the drugstore market, this is amazing for that. But if I'm sort of comparing it to higher end, sort of like Fenty cream bronzer, which I'm using a lot at the moment, I'm not so sure if they're comparable. I might actually do a video on that, so keep an eye out because I think that'll be a good comparison. Because I think the colour is actually very similar. Yeah, keep an eye out for that one. I might do that. But yeah, I'm still building and nothing more is happening. So Maybe you'd want to go for a darker shade if you want more of an intense look and you're the same skin tone as me. Just bear that in mind because this isn't the lightest shade, I don't think, as well. And let me just give you a little close-up. It's definitely got a powdery finish. Doesn't feel cream, but it is enjoyable. And for a drugstore product, it is good quality. So now I think I'm going to move on to the blushes. Oh, just throw them on the floor. These are the blush tones that I have. I think it is a good selection of tones. I think they are really fun colours that they have of the Putty blushes. This shade is Turks and Caicos, and that is it swatched. I'm gonna be honest, these sort of products, they're not swatching very well. They sort of bunch up a bit weirdly. I don't know if that's because of their consistency being sort of cream to powder. They bunch up a bit weird. But yeah, and this is Tahiti here. And I'm gonna be honest, I love the names of these. I love that they've sort of picked these sort of tropical places because I think that sums up the sort of bright colorsness of the blush really nicely. That's Tahiti below. See what I mean? They just don't swatch very well. I don't know what it is. And this is Fiji. Quite a bright one. Yeah, there you go. It's quite bright, but yeah, they don't swatch very well. Like, look at that. I'll put up a photo here of some other swatches I did where I was able to get them a bit nicer and I think the colours look a bit more accurate than this. This just looks like a bit of a mess. I think for a bit of fun, I'm gonna do Turks and Caicos on this cheek and Fiji on this cheek, just so you can see sort of the more subtle colour. I think this is the most popular colour as well that I sort of seen. And then this bright one to see how that performs. So sorry, Tahiti, I'm leaving you out. I'm gonna do it exactly how I did it with the bronzer. I'm just gonna stamp the bottom of my sponge and just apply to the top of my cheek. It definitely has the same finish as the bronzers, sort of that cream to powder. Like, I don't feel like it's a cream product. It just feels like powder on my face. It's quite strange. Might leave Turks and Caicos like that. I think it is a nice, subtle, everyday wearable. Something like this though, I do worry because longevity wise, it does already look quite subtle to begin with. Probably in a few hours, you won't be able to see it very well. Let me just pile it up a tiny bit more, actually. That is something I always do with blush. I put loads of blush on because blush is the first thing to fade. There's Turks and Caicos. It's a really flattering shade for my sort of skin tone. It's not too bright, it's nothing too in your face. If you're just wanting a standard blush, it will suit you. It will suit quite a lot of people. And that was actually relatively fuss-free to apply. Okay, and now I'm gonna take Fiji, which looks so bright. Oh my God. I'm gonna have a bit of a lighter hand with this one because it could do that. Okay. So pigmency isn't actually a much of an issue. I'm just gonna take that on my hand and sort of try and go around the edges. Oh God. I messed up here. I expected it to not be as... I'll be right back. I'm gonna get my foundation sponge. Okay, so I've got my foundation sponge and I'm gonna just try and go over the top of it and soften it out a bit, sort of the edges, to be honest, because I looked like a clown, although I've been punched. Okay, let's try and go a bit more precise now. It's a really pretty colour and I think it's sort of perfect for this time of year. It gives that sort of cool undertone, pink look. I'm quite surprised because it does look almost red here, but it does come off more cool toned. I guess it might have that blue base undertone, which could do it. But definitely going with a lighter hand if you're using one of the vibrant shades. If you're using one of them subtle shades like Turks and Caicos, you can go ham with it. Don't do that with the vibrant shades. So we have Turks and Caicos this side and we have Fiji this side. Overall, I am impressed with them. They do a good colour payoff and I don't have any problems sort of with patchiness or anything that I sort of would have anticipated with them swatches, but I don't have that. Maybe if you use a brush, that is something to be careful of because like I said, doing a cream to powder and then trying to go build on top of it can just make a mess. So a damp sponge could be your best friend using these products. If you love that sort of vibrant, lots of blush effect, getting one of these vibrant shades could be a really good way of delivering that pigment. It gave me sort of a Glossier cloud paint vibe. Or if you are more of a subtle girl, do go for one of the more lighter tones. The undertones are both really pretty and there is a lot of nice shades in that collection. So yeah, overall I am happy with how I look now with the bronzer and blush. I look a lot healthier. I definitely just look better. I feel like longevity could actually be okay because I don't feel like I need to set my face or anything, as sometimes I feel after cream products, because they have left that powdery finish. I did already set like around my eyes and just a little bit in the T-zone, but now I've applied them on pretty much the rest of my face. I have no need to set my face. And that should mean they have a bit more longevity. They're not going to be slip and sliding all around, especially on oilier skin types. But as someone who is of a drier skin type, I'm not seeing it cling to any dry patches at the moment. My skin is pretty good. I have no acne sort of on the areas that I did just apply it. So that's something I can't really comment on at the moment, but it is sort of a velvety satin finish. It feels velvety smooth. So I don't have a problem with it at the moment. I think it will suit quite a lot of skin types. But yeah, that's all from me. I have this bronzer and blushes linked in the description below, but if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for future videos. If you like sort of product photography and short reviews, you can check me out on Instagram at Time to Put My Face On. I really enjoy it over there. I spend quite a lot of time over there, so if you do want to reach out to me, that's a good option. But yeah, I hope to see you again in the next one. Bye.